In 1971, Walt Disney World opened its gates to the world as a place of dreams, its magic and manufactured happiness. But somewhere beyond the parades, beneath the animatronics and synthetic wonder, something else was operating, quietly, strategically, something that didn't appear in brochures or commercials. What if I told you that during the Cold War, a government-backed experiment took place inside Disney World? That a section of the park Tomorrowland was transformed into a living laboratory designed to test behavioral influence through light, sound, scent, and space. This is not a story about fantasy. It's a story about Project W.E.L.L, now a raced initiative with ties to military-grade psychological research. A collaboration with Disney's secretive engineering arm and a trail of redacted files that suggests millions of civilians may have unknowingly participated. Let's begin where the trail starts. In 2003, that year, a digital release of Cold War cultural research was uploaded to a now-defunct Federal Archive site. It was mostly harmless. Reports on morale-boosting cartoons, propaganda films, and educational radio. But one folder stood out. Hidden under cultural engineering projects, researchers found a subfile named W.E.L.L. Initiative, Burbank Phase. Most of the documents were blacked out, but a few sentences remained. Behavioral immersion protocols to be tested in a controlled civilian entertainment structure. Partners include WED Enterprises and Redacted. A test location, Walt Disney World, East Sector. That East Sector, it refers to Tomorrowland. And WED Enterprises. That was Walt Disney's personal team of technologists and futurists, the group that eventually became Disney Imagineering. The phrase behavioral immersion protocols isn't something found in amusement park design guides. It's the kind of language used in covert military research, in programs like McUltra and Project Artichoke, where psychology, control, and manipulation were the main objectives. So what exactly was Project W.E.L.L? Its full name has never been confirmed. Some internal memos refer to it as the World Environmental Learning Lab. Others suggest wired emotional learning loop. But all surviving documentation points to one goal: to test whether human behavior could be influenced through environmental manipulation alone, without drugs, coercion, or direct intervention. In other words, could a person's emotions, decisions, and movements be guided invisibly, using nothing more than the architecture of their surroundings? And where better to test that than inside the most immersive environment ever built? Walt Disney's obsession with environmental control began long before WELL in the 1960s. He introduced the world to Epcot, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. But it wasn't a park. It was a proposed city. A place where every element of life would be managed and monitored through systems. Light, sound, color, rhythm, scent. Walt's vision for Epcot wasn't about freedom. It was about precision. He made it clear. In a perfect city, behavior could be designed. He consulted with urban psychologists, defense contractors, and even ex-NASA engineers. His designs featured underground delivery systems, centralized environmental control, and mood-regulated transportation hubs. Though Walt died before Epcot could be built as he imagined, many of the technologies and ideas survived, and, according to leaked documents, became the foundation for Project W.E.L.L. recovered memo from 1970. Reads: Deploy WELL Phase 1 systems in recreational zones. Focus on ambient stimuli saturation and response tracking. Metrics include dwell time, repeat pathing, behavioral anchoring via audio-olfactory convergence. This isn't marketing jargon. This is systems, language, technical, precise, and deeply psychological. Tomorrowland became the pilot zone. Why there? Because unlike the fairy tale architecture of other Disney areas, Tomorrowland was built to feel different. Sleek, sterile, futuristic. A perfect control environment. Several ex-Disney employees have come forward cautiously. Over the years, 1987, a man identifying himself only as Tom, a former Imagineer, gave an interview to a fringe magazine called Edgeworks Journal. In it, he revealed, "We had lighting that subtly changed hue every few minutes. Audio loops that shifted pitch and rhythm based on time of day. We even had scent dispersers that could inject artificial smells into the air in 15-second pulses. The systems weren't made for guests. They were made to observe how people reacted." Tom said he was never told the full purpose of the installations, just that they had to run continuously. that they were being monitored, and that every component had to remain within exact calibration. The magazine that published the interview went bankrupt months later. Its archives were lost. Tom vanished. In 2002, a former cast member named Maria Jensen posted on a now-defunct blog about her experience working backstage in Tomorrowland. She described unmarked doors that led to silent rooms filled with machines she didn't recognize. Rooms where strangers in black suits came and went. They weren't Disney security. They didn't wear name badges, and staff were told not to interact with them. Soon after publishing her story, Maria's blog was taken offline. Screenshots still circulate, but no official version remains. In 1977, during Phase 2 of the supposed project, the entire system was abruptly shut down. A memo, reportedly leaked by a contractor, stated, "All W.E.L.L-related systems to be decommissioned immediately. Phase 2 results to be archived under black level clearance. Internal reference only." There was no public announcement. Yet, in that same year, multiple Tomorrowland structures underwent quiet renovations. Sound systems were replaced, lighting installations were stripped, bright audio was rewritten. And all sense systems, even the ones used for guest ambience, were deactivated. The result? Silence. No explanation. As if none of it had ever happened, but it didn't disappear completely. In 2011, a letter was discovered in a box of documents belonging to a deceased Disney contractor. The letterhead read, "WED Enterprises." It was unsigned and contained just one line: "The well is closed, but the water still runs beneath."